world are set to tee off. Rory McIlroy holding a one-shot lead over Martin Keimer. It's the final round of the U.S. Open Championship at Chambers Bay.
Going into the final round of any golf tournament with a chance to win, especially a major championship, it's a huge buzz. That's the only way I can describe it. It's the best feeling a golfer can have because you're in the mix and you're in with a chance to win one of the biggest tournaments in the world. It's an incredible feeling. It's something that you may only get to experience a handful of times in your life, so that atmosphere, you want to soak it in as much as you can and really enjoy it.
Rory McIlroy coming off a strong performance yesterday, now making his way to that first tee box and looking to add another major championship trophy to his already growing collection.
And Rich, there's no doubt both golfers will be nervous until they get that very first tee shot under their belt.
The first tee shot is probably the most difficult because you've been thinking about that shot since the night before. Once you get that first shot out of the way, you calm down, you're a little more settled, you're not quite as anxious or nervous, and you sort of get into the rhythm of the round. You want to get off to the best start possible, and obviously that starts with that first tee shot.
Well, here he is, Rory McIlroy, a past U.S. Open champion, about to tee off on what should be an historic day of golf alongside the beautiful Puget Sound. And he's underway. Frank, it looks like a good one.
Yeah, it looked like a free-flowing swing, that's for sure. It certainly betrayed the nervous feeling that we thought he might be feeling on the first tee. And a huge tee shot.
Well, you've been there, Frank. Nerves are good on the first tee, even for great players.
If you can control them.
Frank, tricky little shot from 145 for McIlroy.
You'd imagine with a little bit of nervous energy. Probably only a wedge, though, for Rory. Just something in between the flag and the bunkers on the right. Use the terrain of the green.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Looks to be a good one, Frank.
Oh, nestles inside 15 feet, so a birdie chance coming up for Rory.
He can really get red hot with a putter. Let's see what McIlroy does.
And early advantage, McIlroy.
I think making putts early in a round is very important. It sets the tone for the day and it gives you some positive momentum early. You see the ball go into the hole and it gives you confidence. You face a downhill putt at a US Open with greens that are as tricky as that, it just makes it even more difficult. I feel like you always face important putts no matter when it is, but obviously they're that much more important when it's the final round of a major.
Now over to the second, and McIlroy with a challenging downhill putt. Frank, I know it's early, but if he drops this could really spark some momentum for the round.
But this putt will be very, very quick. You've got to be careful because the ball can quite easily take off once it gets past the hole.
And in. What a way to start this final round. Back-to-back birdies. After an impressive drive, Rory just 165 yards out, faced with this uphill approach shot.
It's going to play closer to about 175 yards, though, Rich, because of that uphill. So probably an extra club, but Rory, even though he grew up in Northern Ireland, where it's windy, is a naturally high ball hitter. It's a good strike, good swing by McIlroy, and no problem finding the putting surface.
Ooh, that hurts. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage, and you're not going to birdie every hole.
Trying to move on with a par in his pocket. Not very happy with that one. So a drop shot.
There's some times when there might be a wait on a tee box, or you've played your shot and you're waiting on your playing partners to hit their shots, and you just look around and you realize where you are, because you don't really you don't appreciate it that much whenever you're playing, and that's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about trying to win a golf tournament and not really taking in the beauty of your surroundings.
Heat of a U.S. Open championship, you're thinking about grinding out pars, but it's hard to miss this view, Frank. They call it Olympus, and with good reason.
It certainly is. A lovely view, virtually, of the whole golf course from here. But this hole, that's the one that Rory's going to worry about right now. Downhill, so it's going to play well short of its normal yardage. You're going to have to club accordingly. And look at the shape of that green, how it angles from the left to the right. Consequently, when that flag is on that right section, you have to fly that ball every inch of the way.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid.
Oh, what a shot by Rory. Really total disdain for this hole.
Stuck that one. Can't hide the flag stick from Rory McIlroy. Been pretty good all day from this distance. Just trying to take care of business. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
He's made it. Now it is Martin Keimer all alone. Not unlike that tree out in the distance. They actually called that one Lone Fir here at 15. So McIlroy is the chaser.
And not only is he chasing, Rich, he has to get this up and down. Very difficult flop shot. This is a high-risk shot. Trying to get that ball up very quickly over the little pot bunker and then somehow get the ball to land soft on these very fast and very firm greens.
And he's made it onto the green now.
Rich, you get that feeling. If there's going to be a moment, I think that moment is now.
Trying to clean this up, make his par. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Final few holes to play, especially of a major championship like the U.S. Open. It's what you've worked so hard for. It's what, you've put all those hours of practice in for, and this is your moment. This is your moment to see what you've got against the best players in the world and test yourself at the ultimate level. There's obviously a lot of pressure. You don't want to let an opportunity like this pass you by. You don't want to let it slip. So just stay really focused, really concentrated. Try to take one shot at a time. Try and put the result out of your mind. Control what you can control. But saying that, it is difficult with so many things going on around you, whether it be the crowd or it could be the person that you're going up against. There's so many things that you can't control, but the things that you can control, that's what you have to concentrate on, and that's what you have to try and do to the best of your ability. And if you can do that, that's what gives you the best chance to try and win a huge tournament like the US Open.
You couldn't ask for much more than what we have right here. Two former US Open champions, 17th hole, tied for the lead, Martin Kaymer and Rory McIlroy.
And Rich, it's easy to remember these types of situations, and it's as much about mental toughness as anything right now. The 17th hole is named Derailed, and I'm sure it's a great test for both men's mental toughness. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Well, too bad, Frank. That one rolled right off the green.
It was just coming out so hot.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here. Now McIlroy cleaning up here at 17.
Routine stuff for Rory. That's a par. One hole left to play here at the US Open Championship, and it all comes down to this, Frank. What does Rory need to do off the tee?
Considering it's a par 5 finishing hole, Rich, you would think that one of these two great players is going to make birdie. So for Rory, he's going to have to be the guy to make it first. He has the honour.
What a great drive on the final hole.
You know, Rich, so often we associate US Opens with just a straight slog, par after par, but this is a real treat. Kaymer at his best, McIlroy at their best, playing anything other than US Open style. This is a totally different generation.
Brilliant golf by the two Europeans. What a shot. I mean, McIlroy just aired it out.
If there was any risk there, it certainly didn't look like it.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Frank, you had to make a run at that one.
Oh, yeah, good effort. Let's see if he can make birdie, but to put an eagle on the scorecard. What?
You could hear a pin drop right now. It all comes down to this. Rory McIlroy to win the US Open. He's done it. What a gutsy performance. McIlroy fighting for 72 grueling holes, fighting through the tough conditions, fighting off a stiff challenge from the great Martin Kaymer. And Rory McIlroy has now won the US Open Championship yet again.
It's an incredible feeling to know when that final putt goes in on the 18th green that, you've won, a major championship, a US Open, to put your name alongside, the names on that trophy, that's something that's going to stay there forever, and it's something that I don't think you quite come to terms with right there and then. You know, it takes a few days to sink in, but you know, it's the ultimate achievement in a professional golfer's life is winning a major championship. And at that moment in time, there's no better feeling in the world. You know, to be able to do it again and put my name on that trophy another time would, you know, it would be very, very special.
This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Today we're here at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, set to bring you all of the action. Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
We've got a big golf course in front of us today. Robert Trent Jones II designed this golf course really to fit in with these marvelous surroundings. But consequently, we have like what I would call almost an inland links. It's going to play like that. Ideally, you'd like to play this golf course through the air, but it's very exposed to the elements. Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy.
And now it's right in his wheelhouse, good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. With that ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Well, this could be good. On the green. And a chance for birdie here on the first hole. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Locked in on the read and the speed. Par for McIlroy. But you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. Now to the second hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, it is not overly long. Where's the trouble here?
Well, 281 yards really to the big long bunker that goes all the way to the green. So as long as you can avoid that, you don't have to hit driver down here, just something that's going to be a little short of that. You're still only going to have 100 yards really, or just over 100 yards in for your second shot. A really good chance